Hello, everyone. Yes, so good to see you all. Thank you for having me here, even though you don't get a choice. I'm happy to be here today. My name is Phil Brazel. I'm the Executive Director of Career and Alumni Relations at APU, and I'm so excited to be with you all. I feel like it's a privilege to get to be with you this morning and to share about what it means to thrive at APU. And so that's the theme of this session. And obviously there are a lot of you here, and this sits within the context of Welcome Weekend as a time to think about what does it mean for you all as students coming into APU to thrive at APU. And that's what I love about the beginning of this Welcome Weekend, the summer orientations, is that we want you to thrive. We desire for you to come here, to be successful, to meet people, to engage academically, to grow spiritually, and to thrive as an APU student. And so that is the theme of our time today. And before I do a little bit of introductions, I'm going to define for you what thrive means. We have actually at the university Dr. Lori Schreiner. She's one of the leading researchers in the world on college transitions and college students and their success while they're at the university. And so her definition is what we'll be working from today during this time. And her definition is that a thriving college student is someone who is fully engaged intellectually, socially, emotionally, and spiritually in the college experience. And so this session today is going to have a lot of different components to it. We're going to hear from campus leaders and key people who are influencing the experience. We're also going to hear from some of our alumni, amazing people who are out in the world taking their experience to go out on behalf of others in the name of Jesus. And then we'll also have some fun activities, some games, some prizes. And so hopefully this time will be very special for all of you. And before we jump into everything, I just want to get to know a little bit of you all who are out here. I think naming the people who are in our audience and are part of this experience. And so first, and I would love for everybody to cheer for these people because they are very important to your lives. Can we have all of the parents and family members that are here supporting students? Can they please stand? Yes. Yeah, we could cheer for a long time, but you all are here for a purpose because you are a major part of what it means to support students as they're thriving in the college experience, and not only for what you've invested thus far in the lives of students, but what you will continue to do as a part of their lives while they're here at APU. And so this session is for you as well because you are of value and importance, and students, you can hug your family or parents extra hard this weekend as we think about the transition. Also, and all of the people here can cheer for these people as well, all of the new students, will you please stand? You can stay standing for a second. Stay standing for a second. We are so happy that you're here. I know you've heard that message so many times yesterday from different faculty members and administrators at the institution, but let me just say again that we are so happy that you chose to be at APU, and this session really is about how we desire to be a part of your journey in thriving both here and beyond APU. And I hope that you experience that not just in word from the front here, but in action from the people that you meet and the faculty that you have in the classroom. And so we are so excited that you're here. So thank you so much for being here. Yeah, you can take a seat now. And within those new students, we know that there are different people are at different stages of their college experience. Can I just hear, are there some transfers in the audience? Yes. So we acknowledge that there are some of you here transitioning in that maybe have already been at another college or community college or university. And so this session is for you as well because there are unique things that are specific to APU that are important for you to thrive here. And so as a transfer student, we welcome you and we acknowledge the wealth of experience that you already have, but bring that here to help provide other resources that can help you engage at APU. And then the second is, where are our first-time freshman students at? Anybody? Little less energy, but we're excited to welcome you, and this is being your first college experience to help put the pieces together during this time as well. I would also love to just hear a little bit about, I've met a few people out here. I know I met Sam from Oahu, and I met Alec from Laguna Beach, and I met James from Indio/Palm Springs. But let me just hear a little bit. Is there anybody from the Bay Area? Because that's where I'm from. Yes. I know. It's always when I land at the Oakland airport, I still feel like, yes, thank you. Okay. Is there anybody from Oregon, like Portland, anywhere around there? Yes. Or Washington, Pacific Northwest? Yes. What about Colorado? Yes. Hope you have your Patagonia and everything, stay cool. And then what about Arizona? Yes. You brought all of your heat this week. Thank you. Like sweating. And then what about Hawaii? I know that that's another place. Yes, right? So feel so jealous of your life, but thank you for coming here to Azusa. But it's been great to meet some of you all throughout during the first few days of Welcome, or the first day of Welcome Weekend, and to hear about your experiences and the unique narratives and stories that you have bringing you to APU. And I just feel so excited to get this time to engage as well. I also had the opportunity to meet, and I know a few parents and families that are actually alumni that graduated from here, and I actually met someone named Jenny Cloak, and are you here, Jenny? Okay, sorry to call you out, but whatever. Okay, but she is a third generation, and her child is a fourth generation APU student, which is amazing. So Jenny and your family, that's awesome. So all that to say, we acknowledge that there are so many unique stories coming into this space, and that there are different perspectives. You come from different places across the United States, across the world, and coming here, and that's where we want to engage in that conversation. And so let me share a little bit about myself, because I think that's important in terms of understanding my narrative and where I'm coming from. Let me show you this picture of my family. Hopefully that will come up on the screen. And isn't little Will just the cutest, my nephew? So the point of me showing you this picture is I'm one of four, and then my brother-in-law is on the far left, that we all attended Azusa Pacific University. So I graduated in 2008. My siblings all attended here from the Bay Area, all different journeys. One of them studied commercial music. Another one studied psychology. I studied business. There was youth ministry, English, and teaching. And what's so interesting for me is that we are 4/5 very unique people. We all have very different personalities, different interests, and APU was a place where we were able to come and to thrive, even though we were very different from each other. You ask anybody, my brother and myself, we are very different from each other. But to be at a place where the faculty come alongside you, where there's staff members and mentors that will help meet you as a unique student from your unique perspective and experience, and help create an experience where you can thrive. My sister, who was an English major, she's a chair of an English department now at a high school, was teacher of the year. She's awesome. She has a blog and wrote a letter actually to the college president last May when my little sister graduated, after my parents had an APU student here for 14 years consecutively. Yes, bless my parents. My parents think that they went here. They walk around and they're like hugging Terry Franson and waving at people. I'm like, nobody knows who you are. Like, just like taking selfies with. I'm like, okay, Mom, love you. Okay, but my sister wrote a blog, and she wrote about our experience and our unique experiences and how it impacted our family. And she wrote a letter to Dr. Wallace. I'm going to read you an excerpt because I think that it talks about what we're talking about today with thriving. And she said to Dr. Wallace, "You helped to create a space where each of us could grow up into who God created us to be, and empowered us to go forth and be just that. Day in and day out, we were taught how to think, how to question, how to reason, and how to discover. We were drenched in truth, both externally and internally. We were challenged to become the best version of ourselves, and then to work tirelessly to give that best of ourselves in service to others." And I think that encapsulates for our family narrative what we had here, and really what my hope is for you. And so today is to say, how do we get there? What are the pieces that we need to do? And so we're going to hear a lot of different pieces, but the thesis of this time, meaning like the main themes that we hope you understand, are kind of encapsulated in 3 words. So the first one is transition. We acknowledge that this is a big transition for every person in this room. So as a student, whether you're transitioning from another college or a university to APU, you're joining a new community. For new students that are going to college for the first time, for first-time freshmen, that this is all new, that maybe you've always lived at home and you've never shared a room. Some of you are out there, or you've never, had the ability to make decisions about your time in the way that you are independent. but also for family members or parents or aunts or uncles or even siblings that are a part of this, that you are going through a transition as your student comes to APU, and there are transitions in what does that mean for our family unit. I remember talking to my mom every time somebody moved out that she was like, I always thought it would be the same because there were more, I had more kids that were still at home, but each person provides a unique contribution to the family unit, and we're transitioning as a family together. And acknowledging the fact that transition is more than just moving the boxes into Trinity or moving them into University Park. That's a physical thing that we're doing, but transition is something that's going on inside of us, that we are acknowledging that, wow, like life is going to look differently, that my relationship is going to look different, school and academics is going to look different, and our hope is that throughout not only this session, but through this weekend, through the days coming ahead as you sit in classrooms with faculty, that we help to normalize that it's okay, that transition provides a space for very complex emotions, that we feel at the same exact time such excitement, but then also maybe fear, that we feel, oh my gosh, I can't wait to take this class, but I'm also terrified to take a college course, that we as human beings have that complexity in who we are, and that's what transition really provides a space for, is to have all of those pieces in one space, and for me to say, from the very beginning, that that's okay and good and normal, and that in that transition we acknowledge that and take ownership of that as well. The second piece that we want you to understand as a theme in this is belonging, and a sense of belonging. That if you look at any of the research on the college student experience, that a sense of belonging is a key contributor to your success, not only socially, but also academically. And we put a lot of emphasis that at APU, that there's community, that we build community, that there are experiences, that there are ways to get involved that we'll talk about in a little bit. But that sense of belonging is crucial to your success at APU, and there's things that I'm going to talk about in a minute that are contributors to that. But we desire for that, but also in that sense of transition, I think it's very easy sometimes in a place like this where there's people cheering for you when you go through the gate, they're cheering for you when you're coming in, that sometimes it's easy to feel, oh, like everybody's so excited and connected, but I at the same time feel like I don't necessarily know anybody yet of significance because you've been here for 12 hours. Let's just name that, first of all. And that's okay as well, to feel like in that sense of belonging that we're taking ownership of that transition, and that it's okay to be like, you know what, I haven't barely known you, and even though I feel like I really know you really well, that there's still moments that I feel like, oh, like how do I get connected and feel like I belong? And we are a part of that, and I'll talk about that in a second, but we desire that for you, not just this weekend, but for the semester ahead as well. And the last piece is ownership, and this piece I want to just hone in a little bit on, and then hopefully transition from me talking for a long time, but that I think that ownership is a key piece to the success in life. I mean, probably everybody knows this, but this experience is the most of what you make of it, and engaging fully in your experience means taking ownership of each piece. And so that means with a sense of belonging. I love the phrase, it's like, in order to have a good friend, you need to be a good friend. So how do you, even in these first few days and hours and moments, that when you're maybe feeling like, oh, I'm feeling awkward, I don't know who to talk to, be a good friend, reach out to someone, because then you can help create that for someone else. But then on the big scale, that all of this experience, whether you're here for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and hopefully not 5 years, or maybe, but whatever time that you're here, that you're taking ownership and engaging fully in your experience, and not just being a bystander to this experience, but stepping in fully to what happens. Because, I mean, you heard this before, that it goes by so quickly, and I do not want you to miss any of the amazing opportunities for growth, for understanding yourself, for learning about God that this place offers. And so that's another key piece that you get to step into during this time, and I encourage you to engage fully in that way. So I mentioned a little about that sense of belonging, and I think one of the hallmarks of our Welcome Weekend and Orientation Weekend is actually our Alpha program. So can we please have our Alpha leaders stand, and can we give them a round of applause? Thank you. So I had the opportunity of being a part of training with the Alpha leaders both before and then also for a week, and that was such a good time, and opportunity to be with them, not just in these highlight moments, but kind of in the in-between moments of life where you really get to understand who people are. And I have been so impressed by these individuals who, like Stacy mentioned last night, are volunteers who give of their time to be on behalf of you all. And that's not just for this welcome weekend, but it's really for the rest of your time in college and maybe even for the rest of your life. That these are people who have been praying for you, have been thinking about you before they even met you, and want to walk alongside you to help in that part of engaging in taking ownership of your experience, for having a sense of belonging and helping in that transition. And so I think that's another way that I want to tell you, encourage you to engage, that these are amazing people. So if you want to reach out to them, get to know them better, they want to do that and they want to be involved in your lives. So I thought that maybe it might be helpful just to take a little peek into their world, and for even parents and family members to hear, why did these people want to be an Alpha Leader? So you can hear a little bit about what they hope for you. And so we're going to watch that video, and then we'll jump into hearing from some of our alumni after that. So check out this video.
Well, I know how hard and scary the first days of college can be, and I just want to be there for incoming students to make them feel comfortable, make them feel at home, and just to have fun with them and just really bring them a part of this APU community, which is so awesome.
I wanted to become an Alpha Leader because my Alpha Leader was able to provide a home for me, especially during my first year when I was homesick, so I want to be able to provide that home environment.
I wanted to be an Alpha Leader because I value pouring into the lives of others and supporting others, so in the future they feel inclined and encouraged to support others and pour into other people's lives.
I wanted to be an Alpha Leader because I know what a blessing and a comfort it was to have a group of friends right off the bat, and I just want to be there for my group and make a safe place where they feel at home and feel like they already have a group of friends to connect with in the very beginning.
Here's a time where there's so many people coming from different areas where they need a place where they feel like they belong, and they're all coming from different areas where they may not know anyone and they don't feel like they have a family here or maybe not have friends here yet. So it's important that you have leaders and create an atmosphere where you belong and you feel welcome and that you have a home. And so I just want to create that atmosphere and be that home for them and just let them know that they are loved and welcomed.
I wanted to be an Alpha Leader so that I could be a rock for the new students coming in, and that I could show them that college isn't as scary as you think it is. It can be a fun place to bond with your friends.
I want to be an Alpha Leader because transitioning into college is a really crazy time, a lot of nerves and anxiety, excitement, anticipation, but I want to be the first face that says you're gonna be okay and I'm gonna be here with you.
I wanted to be an Alpha Leader because coming into college you meet a lot of people that you don't know, and it's so hard to make connections. So I just feel like Alpha is a great way to bring people together, and I just want to help people be friends and have these lifelong memories that they'll cherish forever and just feel super safe and just have a fun time.
I wanted to become an Alpha Leader because within my Alpha group, my freshman year, my Alpha Leader provided an environment where our group became like a second family, and I want to do that for the incoming students so that they could have a second family. And I just feel like a second family at school, at your new home, is just as important as a family at home. They're your backboard and the people you go to for advice, and I just want to create that environment for incoming students.
Yes. All right. Yeah, thank you so much, Alpha Leaders, and I think that, I love listening to that, and I got to talk to them a little bit more in training, that this is the heartbeat of APU and students who are giving of their time, and so thank you again, Alpha Leaders, for being a part of this process and being a part of the thriving of students. And so I'm so excited now to welcome can you welcome these alumni here? We'll introduce them. So a part of my role at the institution is working in the Office of Alumni Relations, and so having the opportunity to meet some of the amazing people who are carrying the legacy of APU, but taking that God First motto out into the world to make an impact. And I know that there are some of you here that are in that category as well. I know Sharon, who I met yesterday, who's a mother of a child who's starting here, who has used her entire education to work in the foster system and is making a huge impact. And so I acknowledge that there are some of you here that are in that community as well. But these are some dear friends of the institution and of myself as well, and would love for them to introduce themselves so that you can get to know them. We're going to ask them some questions in the context of from their perspective, having been in this experience and now being in their careers and life beyond college, what would thriving mean to them, and what advice or pieces that they've gained that they would think back to the college experience, what would they share with you? And I think this is going to be a really valuable time. And so what I'm going to ask you, there's going to be a lot of things here, so, but I'm going to just ask you to share your name, what you studied, what year you graduated, and kind of where you are now and what you've been doing since you graduated. So I don't know, would you like to start, Jackie? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yes. My name is Jackie Roth, and I studied communication studies. I graduated in, thank you, for all you comm majors. I graduated in 2002, and
now
I work in employee benefits. I'm an executive vice president for a company in Pasadena called Bolton & Company, and I talk and listen for a living.
Yeah, great, yes. Let's welcome Jackie, thank you.
Hi, my name is Yvette Martinez, and I studied nursing. Whoop whoop for all the nursing majors out there. I graduated in 2009, and I am currently working at Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. I'm in their Heart Institute. So I work in the cardiovascular acute unit, and I've been there since I graduated. So did the new grad program there and haven't left, and I don't think I'll ever leave. I love it.
And you have your sweet...
And I just had a baby. He's 7 months old.
Little Ezra.
So cute.
Little Ezra, yes.
His name's Ezra?
Ezra, yeah.
Oh, that's my son's name. Her son's name's Ezra. My son's name's Ezra. My name is Zach Rudolph. I graduated in 2002 as well. What was the third thing? Graduation. Oh, what am I doing? Degree was music. Sorry, this is early for a musician, let's be honest. Come on.
Yes.
Got me some slack, Phil. Yeah, so my degree was in music and music education and bass performance. I'm a bass player professionally. I play with a pop artist named Andy Grammer. I tour a lot, and I'm the music director for the band, and that's my life. Yeah.
Thanks, Zach. Welcome, Zach. All right, so the first question I would love to hear from each of you is just about how has APU impacted your career and really your life after college, now that you're, each of you a few years away from this place. How has it impacted your life?
We're all looking at each other like, who's ready for the first question? Okay, I'll swing and you finish what I leave out. APU was transformational for me. I feel like when I got to APU, I had been raised in a Christian home, and I had gone to a Christian school, and then I came here, and things kind of started to rock my world in the classroom and socializing and getting to know other people. I was from a small town in Northern California. Anybody from Chico?
Chico. Bless you.
And you kind of knew everybody in Chico. You'd walk around town and you'd see people that you knew, and then I got to this place and I was like, what? Whoa, so many people, and nobody knows my name. I don't know their name. So for me, when I got here, it was this test of how well can I reach out and get to know people and build a new community. I can get into that with a different question, but it was transformational for me in the sense that I got to be in such a safe place for 4 years to beat up questions, ask questions, say that I don't agree with something, and figure out how I do or how I don't, and then by the end of 4 years, own it. I'll let someone else jump in.
I'll take over.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you follow that?
Oh, yeah, I'll repeat the question in a second, yeah.
Well, for nursing, it's kind of it's kind of set for you, what you're gonna do, and kind of when you end, you go right into, your career, which is an awesome thing. But what I loved about the APU nursing program and APU as a whole is that it really focuses not just on your studies, but on who you are as a person. It kind of connects you to people in a way that, in other places, I don't feel like you get that. So I'm from San Francisco, Bay Area, whoop whoop. So it's a little bit of it's a small city, but a lot of people. So I didn't know a lot of people. I'm more of like the quiet, when I first meet people, I was a lot more shy after high school. So coming into APU, I was just kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Is this the right place for me? There was just a lot of questions. But you get connected so quickly. APU is so good at that. It makes you feel like you're part of a family, even though, you know, it can be miles away from home. And the nursing portion of APU really set me up for a successful career in nursing, I feel. It really focused on the whole patient, not just the physical treatment of the patient, but the emotional, the spiritual especially, and that's what I love, because for me, going into the nursing program wasn't so much about the medicine and advancement in technology and all that kind of stuff, but it was more so about the service of nursing, caring for people and being there in a time of need. And I feel like APU was such a special place for me because it really set me up for that. And I'm so appreciative of it. It really helped me to really go into a patient's room and be able to like assess the entire room and not just the patient, but the family, their heart, where they're at, their emotions, and what they need more than just the medication at that moment. And I'm really grateful for that.
Awesome. Yes. And I think that, yeah, and the nursing program, I think this last week or two just announced that they were in the top 10, maybe even number 4 in the country for nursing programs. So I think that's a testament.
I want to say I played a role in that, but
What'd you say?
I said I want to say I played a role in that, but you know,
it was you, Yvette. Yeah. Awesome. Zach, so I don't know if you'll repeat the question, but how has APU impacted your career and life after college?
Yeah, that can go deep, but I think that one thing that, piggybacking off what you said, is as a musician, I knew, or from the musical standpoint, I knew a lot of stuff before I got here. My dad was a musician and taught me most of kind of what I needed to know. But the things that I didn't know, APU was now that I look back and go, oh yeah, I didn't really get that, and I get it now. And a lot of that had to do with being a good person and communicating well with others, and especially in the music industry. I mean, I tour with people and have to live with them day in and day out, and there was no better practice than that, than 4 dudes in one dorm room when I started my freshman. Like, no better practice than that. So those kind of things, and then just being able to, like, I've also seen in my industry people get fired for just not being a good hang, and so like at APU here, the hang is definitely encouraged, and if you want to learn and grow in how to be like the dude who everybody wants to be hanging out with, you know, not faking it by any means, because definitely keeping it real. But for me, I really picked up on that and just kind of honed that skill, and I think it's one of the things that's helping me be successful as a musician. Is just before even my know-how, people are like, oh yeah, that dude, he's a good hang, you know. And I blame APU for a lot of that, because they forced you.
Because you're so popular now.
So popular. So we were, as you can tell, we know each other well. We were both there in 2002, and so, or we graduated in 2002. We went on missions trips together, and I don't see here. This is actually a good example of how cool APU can be when you make friends, because I don't even see here, a couple times every couple years. Yeah. And it always just feels good. It feels like, I feel back on campus. I feel like we can just click right away. And now you guys have those friends probably that you've had since junior high, and you'll have those friends again going through APU. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Yes. So as you think about these new students here and thinking about thriving, in what ways would you encourage students to take advantage of their APU experience? Either things that maybe you missed or things that you were like, I'm so glad I did this. How would you encourage them to take advantage of their APU experience?
I got one right off the bat. Just first thing that popped in my head was the missions trips. I grew up not really having an opportunity to go on missions trips, or just thought it was like a far-fetched thing, or you need a lot of money to do it, or whatever the case may be. But APU really does give everybody an opportunity to go out and do more than what they're used to doing. And so that was extremely impactful for me. It still changes how I see the world today. It's like one of the first things I can't wait to do with my own kids is get them out there. And it doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be far. And APU gives you opportunities to do that everywhere. You can do it downtown LA. You can go to Africa. You can blah, blah, blah. But that's one thing that I would encourage, like, every single student, you got 4 years to go somewhere. That's incredible. And the money always comes through. The school's great about making sure that happens. So I would say the one thing that would help change your worldview forever is going on a mission trip. So
Let me piggyback off of that because the APU Energy Program is phenomenal here, and I say that because my senior year I was able to study abroad in South Africa. And I can say that I worked with a lot of nurses, and not a lot of nursing schools do that. So it's incredible. I did it the second semester they started it, and it was incredible. So I really encourage that. But that was my senior year. I feel like I didn't really take full advantage of what APU had to offer until like the end of my junior year into senior year. Because I was that shy person, I didn't know how to connect too well. I was just kind of like keeping to myself. And I was afraid. I was scared to like get out there and like do stuff. I was a part of the little groups here and there, but I really encourage you, don't be like me. You know, like this is a safe place to just feel like you can do the things that you never thought you would. And I would encourage you to do that. It's a safe place to do that. Be mentored. That's one thing that I know so many of my friends got mentored here at APU, had amazing like mentorship programs. And, you know, I don't feel like I really had one until the end, you know? And then my senior year when I was studying abroad, I was a senior and I was with a bunch of sophomores. And I was just like, good for you. Like, look at you getting out there. Like, I wish I would have done this sooner, you know? And I left feeling like fulfilled and like, wow, I really got an amazing experience. But I was like, dang, I wish I would have done it sooner, you know? So there's just so much space for that here, which is awesome. So.
Just to add to that, Yvette, I would say take risks. Put yourself out there and try the thing that you are dreaming of doing but too afraid to do. Because if I look back at 4 years, I think, oh my gosh, why didn't I try out for a play? I don't know. The worst that could have happened is they could have been like, sorry, it's not your thing. You know.
I feel like you could have done it, Jackie.
Yeah. Why
like
didn't I try to sing?
Yeah.
So what? You can't sing.
Okay.
You tried.
Yes, really.
But I think if you put yourself out there so many times, you'll be met with opportunities and yeses. And oh, yes is so fun, right? I didn't think I would get accepted on a missions team because I was afraid they would think I was a little bit finicky about like washing my feet and my hands and little things. And then we went to Africa together for 5 weeks, and that has absolutely changed my life. And still, Africa's a part of my life. The people there are a part of our family. It's been transformational. So take risks and jump out, and don't wait until you're a senior to do it, because you don't have to. You're here in a new environment where you have opportunities all over the place, but you will stop you. So.
Amen. That for my life too. Thank you, Jackie. So this is a little bit, little off script a little bit in terms of our questions, but I was just wondering if you can speak specifically to maybe all of you don't need to, but how your faith development, and especially now, you know, being away from college, how this in these unique 4 years, how APU is a part of that, and in your perception of God and your relationship with God. Yeah, it's deep. Yeah.
Okay, I'll start that one. You know, I grew up in the church. My grandfather was a pastor of Latino Assemblies of God Church, and I came in feeling like I had a strong relationship with God, like I knew this, and I feel like APU as a Christian institution like made me question everything, and I was like, what are you doing to me? Like, this is crazy, you know? But I'm so grateful for that. I am so grateful because I feel like, and parents, don't get nervous, because my mom was scared. She was like, why are you coming home with these questions? Like, I already answered all your questions before you left, you know, about God. And, you know, and she was a little anxious about it, but I feel like what it did for me was created a stronger foundation. More so now than ever, I feel like I have a sense of who God is for me. His love, His grace, and His mercy. I didn't learn about His grace and His mercy until my APU experience, you know? Because you're learning so much, you become so like, college experience is great to become really self-aware of yourself, you know? And it's such a beautiful gift to have when you go out into the real world. and I'm so grateful for that. But his grace was what I really experienced on the APU campus, and it is what I take with me everywhere I go, is his love and his grace for me. And I feel like through questioning, through having conversation, through going back home and understanding the dynamic between college God and home God was like, okay, this is different, but it broadened my idea of who God was, and it strengthened my faith, and yeah, I'm excited to then give that to my son in the future too. So I don't want to get emotional, so I'm gonna stop talking.
Okay. Thanks, Yvette.
For me, I feel like I got into my first Bible class, and I went in thinking, because I got a Bible award in high school, I went in thinking,
Of course,
it's
you got
because
a
I was
Bible
really
award.
good at journaling. So I got this Bible award, and it gave me all this confidence. So I walked into this Bible class. No names. And I thought, I got this. And I did not got this. I was so humbled and scared because they were using words that I was like, what is that word? What's a pericope? what? They were using language that was new for me because it was looking at the Bible more critically, and it was understanding the context of Scripture. And it got real for me in Bible class. And I was scared of the really hard Bible profs, which there are some, so look out, take them, okay? Take them, because they will create an environment where you get to say, that is not what I understood to be true about the Bible. And they say, great, tell me why. And you get to say, because this has been my experience. And these professors care so deeply, so passionately about showing you the Word of God and helping you understand it and helping you process it through your own lens. And I feel like I am so thankful and so grateful for the Bible professors that said, tell me more, Jackie. Why do you think that? Stay after. Let's hang out for 10 minutes. Let's talk through that. Because that was, for me, the place where I could say, this doesn't add up. And this is the God that I know, and you're telling me that God allowed this to happen, and that's in the Bible? Like, what Bible? So for me, it was a really safe place, too. I think the professors in Bible classes in particular, their strength is helping you deconstruct and reconstruct your faith, but helping you own it so that you can go, this is the faith that I know and I understand, and I choose it.
For me, I really enjoyed the mentorship that I had, and I think somebody encouraged them to find the mentors. I don't know what year it was, but Terry Franson, actually, I got the opportunity to be under his mentorship, and that still to this day really impacts how I think of my own spirituality, because it makes I was a similar situation, grew up in a Christian home and just assumed that I knew the things I needed to know, and I kind of just piggybacking off my parents, not really doing my own things, just doing what my parents told me to do, and so on and so forth. So Terry really encouraged us to figure out your own devotion. Talk to God how you want to talk to God, kind of thing. Like for each person, there was us 5 guys. These 4 or 5 guys. We're still all really good friends now, and it really encouraged me to dig. So I still now enjoy digging into myself and to how me and God are interacting. And I really blame some of that on Terry Franson, and I really encourage you guys to find mentors. My wife actually was a professor here, and some of the feedback that she got from students was not about her schooling and not about the things she specifically taught her, but just the times when they got to sit in her class and just have conversations about God and the ish they were going through in life. And this is a safe place to do that. So for me, that experience has forever changed how I look at the Lord.
Thanks, Zach. And actually, Dr. Terry Franson's here, and you heard him yesterday at the welcome, and his leadership and his legacy will be around these topics of mentorship and discipleship, and as they've all mentioned in maybe different capacities, whether that's a faculty member, or through a discipleship group that you can actually sign up for through the Office of Discipleship Ministries, or through the actual programs of mentorship where they can partner you with a faculty member, a staff member, sometimes a local community member, a pastor that can be a mentor speaking into your life. And that is a theme in this, that is, have someone further along the journey that can speak into your life and be a part of that. And to me, I mean, being also an alumnus of the university, that was a big part, that being at a place where outside of my parents, being with faculty members, staff members that are modeling what it is to be a Christian in the complexity of the world was invaluable. And to see someone who's 10 years, 20 years, 30 years older than me, and seeing them choosing God amidst hardship, amidst the questions. And so that theme, we want to encourage you. I think that's an element of this thriving piece of getting connected with those individuals. And if you get the opportunity to meet Terry Franson, you will understand why that's his heartbeat, and he's been that for so many people. So thank you, Terry. Amen. So two more questions. One of them being, so as you think about these students and maybe thinking about them at graduation or after college, what would you hope for them? Like, what is the hope that you have for these new students?
The first thing that comes to mind for me is I hope you value and appreciate and savor and soak up these 4 years, because you do not get them back. And they are, I mean, wrapped in privilege. You are going to be sitting among some of the smartest people. You don't know it yet, but you will sit with people who will challenge you and who will push you and round you out. And it's a rich opportunity. It is an incredible opportunity. And what I would be so sad to see happen is to see somebody not have the courage to step out and take advantage of the 4 years, to be fearful and to let that hold you back. My hope would be that after 4 years you would say, I enjoyed and I took up every inch that I needed to be me and to find the comfort in my own skin. Yeah.
I feel like totally agree with that, 100%. I feel like it's such a balance, of getting your studies done and then really taking advantage of that opportunity to really get to know yourself. College is such a small window in like the big scheme of your life, When I look back, I'm like, oh my God, I stressed out, or I was so worried about so much in those 4 years. And I look back and I'm like, that went by so fast. Who am I now, And just like, life is just so much bigger. So don't get too caught up in these 4 years and, getting everything done in these 4 years, because there's so much more life ahead. But take advantage of this safe place to really become self-aware, like I mentioned before, and get to know who you are. Get your studies done, and I have to say that because family is here. But, that's important, because I think one story I want to share is I got so caught up in the extracurricular. Nursing is a hard program, and I am more of like, I need to like do other things, that I like almost failed the class, and if I'm going to be honest, I did fail it. But thanks to my faculty advisor, she put perspective back into my life, and I'm so grateful for her. If I ever had a mentor, I would say Vianne Duncan in the nursing program was my mentor, because I sat with her and I said, I don't know if I want to do nursing anymore. I'm so caught up in all these other things. Nursing, I don't know, it's too hard. I don't want to do this. I failed this class. I feel like a failure, and I need to graduate in 4 years because I can't afford a 5th year. And she was like, Yvette, sit down. She was like, let me tell you about yourself. She was just like, there's a season of preparation, and there's a season of like living out your life and your dreams. And this is a season of preparation. Don't let things, cloud your view. And I'm so grateful for her, because if I didn't listen to her, I wouldn't be living out my dream and the career that I'm doing today. So, it's a balance of those two things, but I'm so grateful that I did do the things that weren't nursing, because it allowed me to really know who I was. So I'm so grateful for that, because I feel like I've taken that now with me through my career, through my life, through my friendships and everything. So, yeah.
I feel like they said it all. But again, the self-awareness thing is really crucial for me because I kind of waited. I kind of just floated through school. And then my year after college, I was like, wait, who am I exactly? Like, and started really digging deep. And because one of the courses I had to take was a philosophy course, and that had me starting to think about it. And I kind of even revisited that stuff. Like, how do you do this again? This whole self-disclosure and figuring yourself out. And I wish I would have done that sooner. And so I hope that you guys do, that when you do have a moment, it's like piggyback off one another. Try to grow together because those relationships will last forever, like I said. But yeah, take the time to ask who you are and then wrestle with that. Yeah.
Great. So this final question in the last 4 minutes here, maybe you've answered it in other ways, but this could be more serious, it could be funny, whatever you want. If you're thinking about sitting across from yourself when you were in here at New Student Orientation, Welcome Weekend, sitting across from yourself at this stage, what would you, kind of grab yourself by the shoulders and say into your eyes at that stage?
I know mine for sure. Mine's ridiculous. I came from a small town as well in Northern California. And I don't know what the ratio is now, but the ratio when I came to school was 3 girls to 1 dude. I got here and lost my mind, if I'll be completely honest. So, I forgot the question. What was the question? I started thinking back, and I was like, what?
Zach, I don't even know what the question was.
Was there a question?
Yeah, there was a question. If you're talking to yourself, yes.
Yeah, little Zach. So the advice to little Zach would have been to focus a little bit. Focus. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach. Yes, thank you. Good advice. All right.
Wow, that's tough to compete with. I was pretty focused, so we were coming at it a little differently. Zach's girlfriend, his freshman year, was in my wing, and so that's how we met. I was like, oh, I'm from Northern California. You guys don't care about all these details. Okay, so the advice that I would give to myself would be, something like, Jackie, just get out there. You go be a persister. Just get in the mix. Do you. Go get it. Do not make excuses for anything. Do it. Because I think I got a little bit held back my freshman year by some guy back home. And I was like, I gotta wait for his call because we didn't have cell phones. So,
So
no, you don't.
You're so old.
I know. So I just would say, shake some of that off and just go. Chase after it and jump into all of the offerings that are in front of you because there's so much. And I would also say, don't be intimidated by the people that are around you that you think have it so easy saying hi to people and chatting with people, because there are people that are just so extroverted that you think they don't even have to try. But the truth is, they're a little uncomfortable too, and they feel nerves and funny things in their tummy too, just as much as you do. So be the person that is standing there smiling, even if it's awkwardly, sticking out your hand saying, I'm Jackie Roth, and I want to know you, and you should know me. We should know each other. That's the advice I would give myself.
Thank you.
I'll make it quick. I already mentioned this before, but I would just, if I could tell my younger self anything, it would be have grace for yourself. These 4 years are mixed with so many ups and downs, so many emotions, so many failures and learning lessons. Just have grace for yourself. Know that that's part of the process. Enjoy it, have fun, get out there, and live your dreams.
Can we thank our alumni panel for all of their... So we are so grateful for them and you know, the many alumni in our community. And part of what is happening actually on Monday, so if this is not in the Welcome Weekend schedule, but it's a part of the welcoming experience, that on Monday, the first day of classes in the evening at 7 p.m. is new student mugging. And this is not a like mugging, like, you know, I didn't even think about that because it's a tradition, but then someone said you need to clarify. I'm like, okay. But this is a time where actually there are going to be alumni coming back and also administrators that are welcoming you to the alumni community and being a part of this bigger picture of APU. There'll be ice cream and root beer floats, but you also will get a gift. Typically it's some sort of like mug or water bottle or something that you get. And this is a 30-year tradition at APU that we all experienced when we were new students. And so you probably will go with your alpha leaders, right? Alpha leaders or something. You'll join together for that. But that's happening on the baseball field this Monday at 7 p.m. So this is kind of keeping with the theme of alumni as well. And so we're going to do something really fun right now just because we want to mix it up a little bit. We're going to play a game with our alumni here. So we're going to move back these chairs. Yes, here comes Stacy. This is like Stacy's dream to like help. We're going to run a game show together here. So, but this activity, we have a couple of students that we're going to introduce them while we're here that have been selected. Can I grab one of these mics? Oh. Okay, great. If you want to come out here, let's hear it for these new students who are bravely going to be a part of this. Yes, awesome. Oh, we okay. So if you just want to say your name, where you're from, and what you're studying, that would be great. Yes.
Well, hello. My name is Brianne. I am from Tucson, Arizona, and I'm actually undeclared, so.
Awesome. Brianne, thank you. Okay.
Hey guys, I'm Lindsay. I'm from rainy Seattle, so I'm very happy to be here, obviously. I'm majoring in biology and honors humanities.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Rafael Diaz. I'm from Upland, California, and I'm majoring in biochemistry engineering.
Nice. Welcome. Okay. All right. So what they're going to do, Stacy will give you some instructions. So what they're going to do is we are going to have them, they're partnering with and one of our alumnus or alumna that they are going to be working together, and they're going to have 1 minute. This is a minute to win it game, and there are actual prizes for them. We'll see who wins. But what they're going to do is the alumni are going to have a cup that they're going to try to catch, that these students are going to bounce a ping pong ball, and they're going to try to catch it, and the person that can catch the most amount of ping pong balls, that team will win a prize, legitimate prizes. And so we need you to cheer them on because they need support from their community right now. And so we're going to give them 1 minute. So once I say go, the music's going to start. I want you to be cheering for them. This is going to get a little bit crazy up here, but we are going to keep Stacy can kind of keep a count over there for what's going on. All right, and then we have music in the back when we're ready. On your marks, get set, go. One. All right. Oh, there you go. There you go. Jackie's got. Oh, look at Jackie. You need to let him out. Pour him out so you can do more. Yeah. Okay. 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 Oh, shoot. Oh. Okay. That was like. Oh no. All right. 20 seconds. All right. Let's hear the last 20 seconds. All right, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, let's hear it for all of them. We're going to do a count here. I don't know what. How many was that? Okay. Okay, so Zach's teams had 4 full cups, so actually Zach's team won. Let's hear it for Zach's team. Here you go, Zach. You are well done. Yes. You get a new alumni buddy for your life here, so there you go. Here, you give these to them. There we go. Awesome. So let's hear one more time for our alumni and our new students participating in this. We appreciate that. And I work also in the career and alumni relations, and part of what we desire to do is to help connect students to alumni. We have an online alumni network called APU Connect with 5,000 alumni on there that are on behalf of students, helping prepare them. So outside of fun games and working together in this capacity, that our alumni are on behalf of our students. And if you want to hear more about that, I'm actually doing a little plug for myself, a session this afternoon for Just for Families Part 2, and I would love to share more about those experiences. So right now, we are going to transition a little bit to interview and have a conversation with someone on campus who, I'm going to grab these chairs, someone on campus who is very well respected and is on behalf of students in so many different capacities. Can you please welcome Dr. Bill Fiala?
Thank you.
And Bill is one of my favorite colleagues at APU. I feel like I told this to him before that every time he speaks, I usually want to write down what he's saying because he has so much wisdom and insight. And Dr. Bill cares so deeply about all of you and the students at APU, and so I'm excited to get to have a conversation today. And this is in the context of thinking about thriving sometimes in situations where the realities of college hit, and what do you do when that happens? And so Bill oversees a lot of those areas and influences a lot of those pieces. And so let's just first hear, Bill, what is your current role at APU, and how long have you been at APU?
Sure. So I am the Associate Dean of Students, and I oversee our wellness services. So that is our Student Health Center, our University Counseling Center, and any outreach that those departments do on campus. And so I've been here for 18 years. I started in junior high right after, and been here for 18 years. I have been the director of the Counseling Center for 17 years. I've been an associate dean for 10, and I've also had the opportunity to do some teaching both at the undergraduate and graduate levels. So I think, having some unique perspectives that way.
Yes,
Yeah.
Great. So maybe for both students, but also parents and families here, maybe you can share, why do you work at APU? Of all the places you could work, why do you choose to invest your life here?
Sure. So I, before I came to APU, worked in the Cal State system and the UC system. So had opportunities to see how business gets done there. And we can be honest with each other. There are a lot of great schools in California. There's a lot of places you could have chosen to be this morning. But one of the things that made APU stick for me, I didn't think I was going to stay, honestly. I thought that I was called to the state system and that I was going to be working there. But having gotten to APU, this, what your alum were talking about is so true. Our commitment to not only developing you academically, but developing you as disciples, right? To be focused on spiritual formation as much as we are on the academic side of things is what differentiates, what sets APU apart. I sensed some parents getting nervous a little bit ago when our alums were talking about faith development. But understand that's a normal process. It's very normal in these emerging adult college years for students to come in with an authority-bound faith. It's the faith that their pastors, their families, their churches have given to them. And let's be honest, that's a gift. That's a gift that you've given to them. But they're exposed to different ideas and different people who come from different backgrounds. And so part of what they come up against is this notion that some people think differently than me. That's kind of weird. But over the course of their time here, they're exposed to faculty and staff who are here for the express purpose of spiritual development and formation, so that on the other end of it, these students come out with a faith that they can own. It's theirs. And so what keeps me here? I love that process. I love to be a part of that process. And so many of the faculty and staff that I talk to are here for that very same reason. I'm also here because my passion is wellness. I have two sons. They are 13 and 10, which means they matriculate in 2022 and 2025. I have that much time to get this place in as good a shape as possible before they get here. So I feel fortunate that I work at a place that really devotes resources and intentionality to students being well.
Great. And I think I was a student here when Bill was here, and I've seen that.
You didn't need to say that.
No, sorry. Yeah, no, sorry. I'm not trying to age. I may be aging myself, but he has always been so thoughtful, not just on a macro level, but even with individual students, his compassion and interest and investment. So thank you for that. So thinking about these new students and also the families that maybe we're supporting when they get the calls with these kind of questions, if somebody is struggling with a class or a course that feels like more difficult than what they had done in high school or another university, and they feel like maybe they're falling behind. What should they do, or where should they go?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this is a place that's rich with resources. First of all, I would say as a faculty member, as I've taught classes, one of the things that's heartbreaking for me is when a student approaches me at the end of a semester saying, wow, I've been struggling with some things, I've not been able to do as well academically as I might like, what can I do? And I kind of say, well, I wish you had come to me earlier. I wish you had come to me and let me walk with you in these challenges. So I would say first, talk to your faculty. They're here because they want you to succeed. And faculty take that personally. We don't feel like we're succeeding if you're not succeeding. So I would say first, partner with your faculty, partner with your professors. Let them know you need a little bit of extra help, or there's something you don't understand, or how can you get connected. And then we have some great offices on campus. Our undergraduate academic success office has some great resources available for how to manage schedules and how to go about this whole academic endeavor. We have a writing center, we have a math center, where we have students who are really great in those areas that want to help you to excel. And our learning enrichment center as well. We have tutors, students who want you to teach them. Because that's going to be the best way to learn. The research shows us that the people that know the most in the class are the ones that are teaching it. Funny but true. So the truth of the matter is, if you can teach a tutor what's going on and they can tweak that with you along the way, you're going to understand that material much better. So take advantage of some of these academic supports that we have on campus. It's what you're here for.
And Dr. Rebecca Cantor, during the welcome session last night, mentioned this in what she was sharing, that there is this feeling that sometimes you have to have it all together, or this ideal of perfectionism, and it's something that I've dealt with too, that to have the courage to say, I need help, even in the classroom when I've came and I excelled academically in high school, and then there's subjects that I'd never taken before, things that I was exposed to that I had never studied, and so to have that courage to ask for that help, that there are many resources both within the classroom with your faculty and outside of that as well. So in addition to that, thinking about a student maybe feeling anxious or anxiety or, kind of the big mental health pieces, what should they do, or what should I do if that's happening, and where should they go?
Yeah, absolutely. So how many of you out there, by a show of hands, has ever felt stress? Okay, all right. Most of you are telling the truth. Stress is universal, okay? So I want to start there. You cannot experience life without stress. And our research would show us that some stress is good, right? If you're sleeping through classes, if you're absolutely not stressed, you're not going to do as well. If you are very anxious about classes and distressed, you're not going to do as well. There's a sweet spot, right, where stress is motivating for us. And what research would show us, okay, if you're writing notes, there's a TED Talk by Kelly McGonigal. It's called How to Make Stress Your Friend. And what's important about this talk is she shares research that how you appraise your stress, how you view your stress, impacts whether it has a negative impact or not on you. So if I think stress is motivating, it's getting me up for my best performance, I'm going to do better. If I see stress as a threat, I feel nervous about public speaking, and so when I get up here, I'm going to drop the mic and run screaming, the likelihood is higher that I will, right? Because it's how I appraise it. It's how I view that stress that makes it positive or negative. So I would start there. I would say everybody's going to experience stress, so you can expect that. How you embrace or fear that stress is going to impact your success, okay? And there's great things you can do even to mitigate that. So the magic 4, eat right, okay? It's going to be eat, sleep, exercise, and connect, all right? So ramen and Little Caesars are great, but not 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. So you got to mix it up. So we have a great student health center with a full-time dietitian who would love to talk with you if you have questions about how you can eat better on campus. And we're intentional about what we put in things like our CAF to make sure that you've got a variety of things to choose from there. I said sleep. The truth of the matter is there's somebody on your floor in your hall who's going to tell you, I sleep 3 hours a night and I'm doing great. I video game the rest of the time and I can do just fine. They're lying, okay? That's not for you, all right? The truth of the matter is when we do studies on sleep, it is one of the key factors to academic performance. You must sleep sometimes, okay? Just want to throw that out there as you're planning your semester, okay? Exercise. Take advantage of the fact that we have 2 campuses. Many of you are going to be living on East and doing classes on West. It's a good 10-minute walk. If you're vigorous, you can get it in under 10, right? So take advantage of the fact that you've got some built-in exercise here, right? That is going to create chemical differences in your body that are going to help to mitigate that stress, right? And then connect. Nobody is well in a vacuum, right? We all need each other, and that's something that Christian community does really well. We get this, right? So connect. Be a part of that alpha group. Join a discipleship group. Look for a mentor, or just hang out with the people in your hall. Now, I understand, I'm an introvert, right? Some of that is painful for me. It makes me want to go take a nap. But the truth of the matter is none of us can exist in isolation and be well, right? Now, you asked about anxiety specifically, so let me just say that for some people, that stress becomes unmanageable, right? It becomes distress. And it impacts your ability to function, it impacts your ability to do the things you want to do. So we do have resources on campus as well. We have a pastoral care and counseling office. We have a university counseling center, which I direct, our student health center, and other resources that are in place so that you can have support in those times when that anxiety feels like it's unmanageable, right? We have statistics year after year that say the number one thing that's getting in the way of student performance is stress and anxiety. So we've taken the opportunity to create some 3-week workshops that students can participate in through our counseling center, specifically designed to mitigate and address anxiety and stress. One of them is called RIO. It stands for Recognition, Insight, and Openness. And that is an opportunity for you, whatever that negative feeling or difficult thought you're having, to come in, learn how to accept and to deal with that differently. And then we do something called Anxiety Toolbox, which is another 3-week workshop where it's going to be real concrete skill building. How do I deal with that anxiety in ways that are productive? So those are just a couple of the options that students have. And I would say, again, you have great resources for those of you living on campus and your RAs. They know about all those resources. Your alpha group leaders know about all those resources. And so ask them if there's something you feel like you need and you want to get plugged in.
Great. So kind of in closing, what do you feel like, what does thriving mean for you if you're thinking about for students thriving at APU?
Right. So I'm totally biased on this one. So Phil mentioned earlier Dr. Lori Schreiner's research, which is fabulous research. We know what it takes for you to be academically successful. Students who are engaged in their learning, you're active participants, students who are goal-directed, you have the end in sight and you're working towards that diligently. Students who are positive, right? They're optimistic. They practice gratitude. Those characteristics are going to point to better outcomes. You're going to persist, you're going to graduate, you're going to achieve what you want to academically. But then also social connectedness, which we've talked a lot about, and global commons, this idea that you're a part of something bigger, and I believe we're going to have somebody talk about that in just a minute, but the notion is that it's not just you in this little space, there's a whole great big world and you're going to be impacting that. So those are academic thriving, but I'm biased. I'm a psychologist. I look at dysfunction. And so the truth of the matter is I see that there are things that get in the way of our academic performance. When you are unwell, when you are anxious, when you are depressed, those are things that get in the way of thriving. And so we need to attend to that. We need to be intentional about our wellness, right? So what does wellness look like? All right, I'm going to run down that rabbit hole if that's okay. For me, when I think about wellness, I think about the term shalom, right? It's a Hebrew word. And oftentimes when we hear that translated, we hear it expressed as peace, right? And it's certainly that. But it's something much deeper than that. When that culture was talking about shalom, it was a holistic well-being. It was spiritual. It was relational. It was communal. Not just the absence of strife, but something very positive that was all-encompassing. That's what I think of when I think of well-being, when I think of thriving, right? Is that notion of we're in a space where the Spirit is working through us and we're displaying that fruit, peace to be certain, but love and joy and patience and kindness and goodness and faithfulness and gentleness and self-control are all a part of that as well. So I think when I think about thriving, it's somebody who is experiencing that in such a way that it is augmenting your education. It's adding to the ability to achieve here. So those are the types of things I think of when I think about thriving. And I think it's something that's in our grasp. I think if you're intentional, I think if you use the resources that are available to you, I think if you embrace your limits sometimes, right? I'm not supposed to say that in Christian culture, but limits are God-given gifts. And so sometimes we need to embrace those limits and say, I can't do that, I've got to say no, right? We heard from our alumni all the wonderful things that are here to do, and they are. They're wonderful things, but sometimes we need to get some rest. Sometimes we need a Sabbath. So I would say being attentive to yourself and caring for yourself in that way will cause you to thrive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great, thank you, Bill. And I think I remember my parents coming and being at APU, that it's people like Bill that make them so grateful that we were here with people like Bill that are intelligent and compassionate and Christ-like, and a gift to be here as a student, but also a gift as a colleague. So let's thank Dr. Bill Fiala for his insight.
You know, Phil, I feel like, this feels a little bit like Jimmy Kimmel to me, or Ellen or something like that. This is new for me. So I'm thinking we should throw things at the audience.
Oh, great. Okay,
so this is my marketing budget. These are brains, but they're also stress balls.
Yes,
so here they go. All right. So we need to get some over on the sides.
Okay,
right?
the sides.
Here
okay.
we go.
All
right.
I'm like, this is not my.
Who's standing? Who's standing? Who wants a stress ball? Yeah.
Oh my, this is not my forte. This is
no?
not my forte.
Like I love this.
I like it, but I'm just not good at it.
Get them all the way back there.
It's like the story of my life. Oh, there you are. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
There we go. All right.
I told you I'm not good at this.
Stuff. So at the very least, you can squeeze this and feel better.
Yeah, this is what is this? The stress ball. Oh, awesome. Wow. He missed his calling. Oh, I could do
yes.
I could do that.
All right.
Is that it? Okay, I'll do one more because I could do this.
Thank you, everybody.
There we go. Thank you so much. Thanks one more time, Dr. Bill Fiala. And just a reminder, some of the things that he shared about, just to touch again on them, the specific care resources that are up on the screen right now, that the Learning Enrichment Center, that's a place that you can go for free tutoring on campus if you're feeling academically like there are specific courses that are challenging to you, to have peers that have been in those courses and worked with the faculty members. Also, the Counseling Center that Dr. Bill Fiala directs, that is a great space to have counseling and just kind of dig through some of life, and whether it doesn't even mean you have to be in an extreme situation to utilize that resource, and I think it's a really helpful piece. And then also the health center, that exists on campus when you're feeling physically not well, that there are nurses and doctors there that are able to support you. And there are a myriad other resources as well. You should have received, if you came to new student orientation, a resource guide that articulates many different resources that exist for you. We just highlighted a few, and if you don't have one of those, feel free to let the Orientation and Transitions Office know. We can make sure that you get that so you can have that exposure. All right, so as we transition a little bit, one of the other key pieces, which typically a lot of alumni share is one of the things that they miss the most about APU, is actually from our chapel programs. And there are a few key pieces in order to thrive within that environment that you need to know about. But the big picture for this is, now being outside of my college experience, that this is one of those things that I thought it's unbelievable that you get to have this at your fingertips. And maybe this is one of those things about ownership and engagement, that stepping into this, that there are speakers, pastors, authors, leaders that are going to be on this stage, on this campus and on East Campus, that will be providing guidance, insight, wisdom, multiple days a week that you have the opportunity to be a part of. And so Chapel Programs has a video that we're going to watch right now that will share some of the details about how to thrive within this piece of the APU experience. So let's check this out.
Welcome to Azusa Pacific University, your new home. College is an exciting time of life filled with new ideas, relationships, and experiences. God has led you here to APU, and we believe that your college years are about something so much greater.
APU is a place where students come to grow as disciples and scholars who seek to participate with the work of God in the world. We are a university that encourages students to develop a Christian perspective of truth and life.
Our desire for you is that you thrive at APU, that your heart, soul, and mind will be continually transformed by the renewing and redemptive work of God in your life, as both an individual and as a valuable part of the body of Christ. Chapel is an essential part of your APU experience, and it is an intentional time that we set apart in our daily lives for honoring and worshiping our Creator.
Gathering together for consistent rhythm of corporate worship bonds our community together through mutual experience and creates unique opportunities to grow together as disciples and scholars.
The Office of Chapel Programs is committed to providing you with chapel experiences that are biblical, relevant, diverse, and challenging. APU selects worship teams, speakers, and presenters who will communicate messages rooted in Scripture, who will speak practically and challenge our assumptions about what it means to be Christ followers in the world today. These presenters come from our own staff and faculty, local church pastors, as well as authors, speakers, and recording artists from around the world. Our passion is to craft chapel experiences that will impact your life both now and beyond your time at APU.
Because APU is first and foremost a Christian learning community, chapel is a co-curricular learning requirement. In other words, chapel is not only a worshiping community, but is also the university's largest classroom. This means regular attendance is required for all undergraduate students, even commuters and transfer students. Like any worship service or classroom, respectful behavior is required. Lastly, chapel is not church and is not a suitable replacement for participation in a local church. We hope that you seek out a local church and join their community too.
Your chapel requirement is easy to fulfill. Typically, students must attend 3 chapels every week, but we know how busy life can be for students, which is why we give you 10 allowable absences every semester for personal matters. Now, please be wise about how you use your absences, because you cannot make up missed chapels later in the semester. If you miss a chapel and incur an 11th absence, you'll be put on chapel noncompliance. You can check your number of absences taken online at your home account at home.apu.edu.
We offer several morning and evening chapel options every week for you to meet your chapel requirement. Morning chapels are offered every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 10:30 a.m. in the Felix Event Center and Upper Turner Campus Center. International Chapel meets on Friday mornings at 10:30 a.m. in Upper Turner Campus Center, while Friday morning chapel only meets in Felix Event Center.
Evening chapel options include Senior Chapel on Monday nights at 9 p.m., Kaleo Chapel on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m., and evening prayers at 6 p.m. or Liturgical Chapel at 9 p.m. on alternating Thursday nights. But remember to check our schedule for Thursday evening options. All evening chapels regularly meet in Upper Turner Campus Center.
We want chapel to be one of the best parts of your APU experience, and we do our best to keep you informed. For more information about chapel, attendance policies, or your accountability, check out our website at www.apu.edu/chapel. Give us a call at 626-812-3088 or come visit our office on East Campus. For event times and important updates, you should follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at APU Chapel. Also, please remember to read our weekly emails. They always contain very important information and a look at the week ahead.
Lastly, please be aware that the first 2 weeks of school have some major differences. This is the first year at APU where classes begin on a Monday. However, there will be no chapel this first Monday. The very first chapel will be opening chapel on Wednesday, and you won't want to miss it. There will be a Kaleo this week, but no Thursday evening option or iChapel. Friday chapel is academic convocation and will only be on West. This will be a 2-chapel requirement week.
Your journey at Azusa Pacific University is a unique time in your life that you'll only get to do once. We invite you to make the most of it by taking advantage of this opportunity to grow. If you want to thrive at APU, it starts in chapel.
Yeah, let's clap for that. So this is one of those pieces that I would tell you again, I think it's easy when anything becomes a requirement or a part of a rhythm to either, not even that you don't like it, but that you begin to take advantage of that I would just encourage you in the moments that feel like, oh, I'm going to chapel again, to take that moment to say, there will become a time in my life where this will not be happening, that there will not be somebody coming in to lead worship for me, to have a speaker come. And so I'm just challenging you as both someone who works at APU, but also an alumnus of the university, that this was such a gift, and to not miss that and to engage in that fully. One note that Dr. Terry Franson wanted me to remind me of the Alpha leaders and ACs is that the first chapel on that Wednesday, if those student leaders can be in UTCC on East Campus, that would be great. So that's for the Alpha leaders and Alpha coordinators here. Transitioning a little bit now, I'm gonna share briefly as we begin to close the time about some specific practical tips. And these are some of the things that I think when you're coming to either university for the first time or coming to APU for the first time, that you maybe don't want to have to ask these questions, but they're important for you to know for the first week of school and to be able to thrive even thinking about tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday. And so this is going to be some practical tips that I'll move through pretty quickly. But at the end of this time, we have randomly selected a name. We're going to give them a really cool, awesome preparation for first week of classes gift. And I have a name of somebody, and we're going to do that after I share about these things. But a couple of things are, like they mentioned in chapel, that classes start on Monday, but there is no chapel on Monday. And typically, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, and you saw that grid that they put up there, that there is no chapel on Monday, so you do not need to attend that. Classes, though, start on Monday, and like I mentioned, that Monday night we have the new student mugging event that will be happening with our alumni and inviting you into that community. But some of the practical pieces that I think I didn't know when I was coming into college, both what the first week meant and what I need to bring, that typically the first week is often the times that professors and faculty go over their syllabus, and I also teach a course. I teach in the Department of Psychology, and it's a really awesome opportunity to be in connection with students in the academic setting. And we typically go over the syllabus, which is really like a covenant between the professor and the student, and go through what the course expectations are, the required textbooks. Some of you have maybe already pre-ordered all of your textbooks and you have them here. Maybe some of you are still waiting for them to arrive from Amazon or something else. And typically that first week, that's okay as you're sorting through that piece. But really, that is when you kind of gain what I love about that first week is it's really a lot more about like life and work, that you're trying to understand each professor is different. Their expectations may be a little bit different about homework, about the coursework, about the classroom. Like in my class, I don't allow to have any technology at all, where some people have that integrated into the class. And so that's really what this first week about, and reading the syllabus and getting to know what those expectations are. And so really what you can bring is, if you have the books, you can bring those, but you can also bring something. I mean, this sounds basic, but sometimes people don't bring these things, but to bring like a notebook and a pen that you can write notes, it's very basic, but sometimes people don't do that, so we want you to feel like you're set up for success. And so to bring those things with you to the first day of class, and ultimately to, to engage in that in a great way. And students, you will be with your alpha leaders, I think, going to see where all of your first classes are at some point. Is that true? Or if you need help doing that, we would love, because I know there's still classrooms that are sometimes hard for me to find. I've worked here for 9 years and sometimes I can't find them. So we want to help you do that. And really to step into this first week of classes with excitement, and feel free, this is again where the alpha leaders are a major resource for you in those questions that maybe feel like, I don't know the answer to that, and it feels weird that I need to ask this question, but that's totally okay. So we're going to give away this first week care package, and so, or whatever it is, whatever you need. I don't know, there's a mug, there's snacks, there's pens, hopefully you don't need to use a Scantron in your first week, but maybe you could save it for later, I don't know, or a blue book as well. So I'm going to name, we've randomly selected a name, and this is where we have the opportunity to encourage someone and cheer them on with our community. Wherever you are, if you can come down to this side of this stage and pick this up. And first, let me make sure that they're here when we get it. So the name is Sarah Camp. Sarah Camp, are you here? Oh, wow, yes, way up there. Okay, you can come down. All right, let's cheer Sarah on. Let's encourage her. Let's pray that she doesn't need to have a Scantron or a blue book during her first thing. So Sarah, you can come right down, down the steps right here and pick this up. Maybe we can pick it up from over here. There we go. Awesome. Sarah, congratulations and blessings on your first week. Okay, so a couple other pieces that are still on this slide with meal plans. This is another thing that people often have questions about. Your meal plans begin tomorrow evening with dinner, and you will use your ID card for all of those meals. And that's where it begins throughout the semester. If you have a meal plan, if for some reason you need to change your meal plan or have a question about that, you can go to the One Card office, which is actually right here in the APU bookstore, and it has the same hours as the bookstore as well. So if you need to change any of that or have any questions, it's right up here on West Campus, and so you can do that as well. But that's one of the things, I don't know about you, Jackie and Zach, regardless of the food, it is amazing that you can take a card and just swipe it and just pick up food and like go, right? Maybe you're used to that at home, but now as an adult, I'm like, gosh, that would be amazing. Like, getting off work and being like, okay, I have to cook and like meal plan and like, anyways, musings, whatever. Okay, so that's a little about meals. The last major piece is actually about campus safety, and I know that both students and families and parents have questions about this. And let me first just say, knowing the campus safety team that is here, that we are in such good hands. These people are passionate not only about safety, but also about your students and you as new students. And some of the things that they wanted to communicate with you all are some of the basic things, but you may be coming from a different environment, a different city life. Maybe you lived in the suburbs. That we are in Azusa, in the greater Los Angeles County, and although this place is very safe, we are not exempt from the world, and so we have to use wisdom in what we do and the variables that we can control. And so some of the things that we encourage are, walking in groups, especially between campuses, and using wisdom, even though, it's relatively close, that especially at night to walk in groups. They also offer a shuttle at night, when the trolleys aren't running. If you ever feel like you just need a shuttle to get between campuses, you can call campus safety and have their support in that way. Basic things about like locking your car door, and I, even myself, this is something that I need to do better as well, that, we're around such great people and here that sometimes I'll just like leave my laptop on a desk or out on a table and walk away. That just isn't wise probably anywhere. And so making decisions like that help, to model that wisdom as well. Also, if you have a bike or a car, you will need to register that and get a permit because they can't just have any bike on campus. That when you're locking it up in specific places on campus, you have to have a permit for that. And also, you will take, during your time, some preemptive training pieces on alcohol and on something called Title IX, which is about how we, commitments that we make to the way that we treat each other and respect each other on campus. And those are important pieces, and part of this community piece is living in respect and on behalf of one another. And I think that's what I love about APU, but also you each play a role in that process and how you choose to communicate with one another, how you respect each other's boundaries, and those will be coming, but know that we take those things very seriously at the institution. And one piece of the campus safety for sure wants to communicate is their number. So this is the number for everybody should take out their phones right now and put this number into your phone. So this is a direct line to campus safety. So if you, like I said with that shuttle, if you need help getting back from or in between campuses, or you, I think there's still their motto, if you see something, say something. Yeah, so to be communicative with them and that they want to be a support for you. And in this big picture of things, I think this role on campus, there are students who wear blue polos that are there, but we also have full-time staff, that it can be a very thankless job sometimes, that they're working 24/7 to help keep you safe. And it's kind of one of those peripheral things that you may just see or be like, who are they or what are they doing? That I would just want to challenge everybody here, I mean, even parents and families before you leave, or students in this next week, to just thank them for what they do when you see them on campus, because they will smile and say hi to you, and just to be gracious, because it is difficult work and oftentimes it's thankless. And so they are great people who are on your behalf, so make sure you have that number in there as well. And as we begin to close, the thinking about thriving, those are some pretty practical pieces to what it means to being in this community and thriving. That what I love about APU students and being with the Alpha leaders for a week, that although this time is a time of preparation for the rest of your life, that there is today, and you can impact today, that you aren't waiting until college is over to be a part of what God is doing in the world, of what God is doing in the lives of people around you and serving. And Dr. Wallace mentioned yesterday about the service requirement. And there are a lot of ways to get involved. Maybe you'll be an Alpha leader and supporting students through that transition. Maybe you'll be an RA living in the dorms or on the on-campus living areas. Maybe you'll be a D group leader. Maybe you'll be a leader in the Student Center for Reconciliation and Diversity. That there are ways you can, on campus, get connected immediately and be in a D group and start to make a difference now. But also there are ways, like the alumni panel mentioned, in terms of giving back to the world now, that it's not waiting until you get your diploma and walk across the stage, but being a part of these bigger conversations in the world. And so we're going to watch a video briefly, and then we're going to have Matt Browning come and share about some of these experiences and how you can even take action today. So let's check this video out.
I had to abandon the American dream a while ago because I realized I'm going to die someday. I don't want to sit on my deathbed at the end of my life and say, I wish I would have done something differently. I wish I would have done something that really reached out to people and really cost me everything. I think this process will cost me everything.
In the first years, when our school was young, a majority of the students packed their bags and left. Leaving behind their own dreams, they found themselves in forgotten places of the globe. Many chose to never return.
Quite honestly, I'm scared. I'll look you straight in the eye and tell you I stopped just short of saying, why aren't we doing these things? We take a look at Palestine, we take a look at Darfur, we take a look at inner cities here in the United States, and somehow we're able to look the other way. Why can we not let the gospel interrupt our lives?
In this life, we get churned into this cycle of seeking after our own dreams and being as successful as possible.
What makes sense to my flesh is money. What makes sense to my flesh is power. The human capacity is to want comfort. That's not who God is. That's not who God has asked you and I to be.
For me, I'm just trying to see what it looks like. I don't need to be the top of my class. I need to love.
The kingdom of God it's amongst all the people that walk the streets. And God isn't flying by, God's walking there with the people.
Understanding Jesus as one who suffers with and who journeys alongside, I think, that their pain and their struggle and their hurt becomes yours.
Jesus went out and he healed people, and there's healing in relationship, there's healing in spending time together.
When you see who Jesus spent his time with, it was consistently with people that were on the margins of society. And so where are you going to learn those lessons the best? On the margins of society, with those people. That's how it has to be.
And once you get that in yourself, I mean, that's very powerful. Is it easy? No.
Today, the Center for Student Action continues the work of mobilizing students to engage the world.
The life of Jesus and I see action. I see a call to a different lifestyle.
And I would really want to encourage people to just go and to go see what else is in the world and see where there's a need.
I want to figure out how to create a body of students at this university that cannot look the other way.
The world revolution.
Good morning. Good morning. Sorry about that mustache. Man, I forgot how nasty that thing was. Sorry you had to see that this morning. It's still early. I'll be quick. The bottom line is this. I meant what I said. That thing got put together quickly, but I meant what I said. I really believe that we can create a community that cannot look the other way. There are things right around the corner here. There are things around the corner and around the world that need what you and I have. I don't know where you are in your Christian journey. Most of you have chosen to follow Christ. Some of you have not. If you have not, you are my friend, and you are welcome here, and we love you. But those of us who understand what Jesus asked us to do, we realize that we have to have an active faith. I wish that I would have figured that out much earlier in life. I'm 53 years old, and I just figured it out not that long ago. But when you read James, it says, don't just be hearers of the word, but do the word. And that is exactly what we are committed to. One of the cornerstones, you know now, soon you'll be tested, one of the cornerstones of the university is service. So we are serious about what it means to engage locally and globally. I am convinced that sympathy is not a substitute for service. That's what I mean by I'm tired of talking. What we say in the Center for Student Action is we're going to stop talking and we're going to start acting. I'm asking you students today, literally within minutes, we're going to dismiss you and you're going to go upstairs to what we call an action fair. And I'm going to ask you to begin to pray today. What would it look like if you really believe that everyone was made in the image of God, whether they're our neighbor here or in a country that we can't even pronounce the name of where they live? If you begin to believe that, and if that becomes core to you, you will get more and more this sense of we have to get involved in some way. Some of the best memories that you will have on this campus. I am so excited that you are here to study. You will sit at the feet of excellent women and men that will teach you. But I guarantee you that some of the best experiences that you will have will be when you give yourself away. The law of reciprocity says that you cannot outgive God. So soon, you're going to walk up there. I'm going to ask you to consider what it looks like to serve in Mexico at Thanksgiving or over spring break. I'm going to ask you to get involved. Not 500 yards from here, there's an after-school program that needs people like you, our community, to help them do their homework, little kids do their homework after school. We are going to spend time in Los Angeles. There are over 80 languages spoken 28 miles from here. We are going to engage the city. I'm going to ask you to live with international students on our campus. I want you to get a global pass here right now so that you can go to iChapel on Friday so that you can begin to interact with all the international students we have here. I'm going to ask you to go somewhere next summer. We're putting together 35 teams, and God willing, we will be around the world, not fixing problems, but going as learners to come alongside the good work that God is already doing somewhere around the world. This is the last time we'll get to do this probably because it'll be chapel soon. But take out your phone, if you would, or soon on your way out. I got to get out of the way. But go to the centerforstudentaction.org, and you can sign up today. I need to know soon. I want to know what you're interested in. You can go to centerforstudentaction.org, and the first thing you'll see is how can I get involved? And there'll be a list of opportunities for you there. The service fair, there's a ton of people out here ready to share with you what that might look like. Thank you.
We're just going to pray a blessing. I've always loved Matt's energy. And so as we think about closing this time, I'm going to invite back up the people who are part of this, but also Dr. Terry Franson, who is here. And, the whole point of this session is to introduce you to these ideas of thriving, and Terry's kicking off all the ping pong balls, and to think about what it means for you in the future. And, Zach being here and all the other members of the alumni panel who actually had to leave, representative of the 50,000 alumni who've graduated from APU and are out in the world, and I know some of you are here, impacting the world in the name of Jesus. And so what we would like to do is just pray a prayer of blessing over the students. So if all the new students could please stand right now, just the new students, let's... Woo! And if you are someone here who's supporting them, a family member, a parent, a sibling, an alpha leader, otherwise, and us up here, if you feel comfortable, you could just extend a hand to them. We will pray a prayer of blessing over them right now. Jesus, thank you so much for each of these students. We thank you for the unique lives that are represented here. I thank you for the stories that have brought them to this place. I thank you for the things that you've been doing in their lives thus far. I pray for the next few days as they engage as APU students and go to class for the first time, as they meet new people, as they enjoy times with their alpha group and in the classroom. I pray that you would give them boldness, give them courage, give them peace, and bless these first few days. Also for the years ahead, whether that's 2 or 3 or 4 years, I pray that they would engage fully, that they would step into what APU is all about, to be all in the classroom, to be all in chapel and in their relationships and in their pursuit of their own growth and their own development and their relationship with you. I pray that you would meet them in beautiful and unexpected ways as they learn, as they are challenged, as they meet people who are different from them. I pray that you would grow them and in ways that they can't even expect or imagine. And I pray for beyond this, as we have the alumni here, that this experience would not be purposed just for itself, but the privilege of sitting in these seats would carry with it the weight of responsibility for the years ahead and beyond this. We thank you for the amazing gift of being at APU, the privilege that is here, and I just pray that your goodness and your faithfulness would go with them. Thank you for this time, and bless the rest of their time today. Amen. All right, and the next thing is for each of you is at 1:30 p.m. Parents, you'll be back. Parents and families will be back in here for your session. Students, After the fair and the lunch, the next major thing is to be out on West Campus Long to meet your alpha groups. Otherwise, thank you so much and have a good rest of your weekend.